Are you struggling with loading JSON files in your Cordova Android app? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into a common issue that many developers face when using the Fetch API. I totally understand how frustrating it can be when your app fails to load essential files after an update. It's like preparing a delicious meal, only to find out you forgot the main ingredient. You're definitely not the only one experiencing this. Here's the specific question we're tackling today. One user asked, "Why does my app throw an error when trying to load JSON files after an update?" The error message states that the URL scheme file is not supported. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what's happening here? The Fetch API is designed to work with HTTP and HTTPS protocols, but when you try to load files from the local file system, it runs into issues. This is a common limitation in web technologies, especially in mobile apps. Stick around because at the end of this video, I'll share a plugin that can help you overcome this issue and keep your app running smoothly. To address the Fetch API error, the user should first ensure that the JSON files are accessible through a supported URL scheme. Since the file scheme is not supported, we need to serve the files over HTTP instead. Next, the user can use the Cordova plugin called Cordova Plugin File. This plugin allows access to the file system and can help in loading files correctly. After installing the plugin, the user should modify their code to use the correct file path. Instead of using the file scheme, they can use the HTTP scheme to fetch the JSON files. Finally, the user should test the application to confirm that the JSON files are loading correctly without any errors. This can be done by running the app on an emulator or a physical device. Fun fact, did you know that the Fetch API is a modern replacement for XML HTTP request? It's designed to be more powerful and flexible, but it does come with its quirks. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests using XML HTTP request instead of the Fetch API for loading local assets. This method can help bypass the issue with the file URL scheme not being supported. That's all for that response. Let's see what someone else had to say. An alternative solution shared by another user involves using XML HTTP request instead of the Fetch API. They encountered the same issue with loading JSON files in a Cordova Android app. Their solution was to set the response type to array buffer in their custom fetch function. Now, let's shift our focus to a different response. An alternative solution provided by another user involves using XML HTTP request instead of the Fetch API. They suggest creating a function called fetch local resource that takes a URL as an argument. Inside this function, an XML HTTP request is created to load the resource, and once the request is complete, you can handle the response text as needed. Let's take a moment to review another user's answer. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests using Axios instead of the Fetch API. They recommend fetching the JSON file as a blob, which can help bypass the file URL scheme issue. Here's the plugin I promised. The Cordova File Transfer plugin can be a game changer for your app. It simplifies file handling and ensures your JSON files load without a hitch. And there you have it. With these tips, you should be able to resolve the Fetch API error in your Cordova Android app. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more troubleshooting tips and tricks.